Hello everybody, I'm Peter Galot, and I'm Crystal. And today we are gonna be reviewing Rwby Volume 5, Chapter 11. And wow, the cliffhanger! Should the cliffhanger really be shocking? Let's not focus on cliffhanger now. Now, I feel like the final 5 episodes are pretty much just going to be action, which is basically affirmed. Who knows? A bunch of the volume was just talking, and now we get action. Kinda interesting. Yes, I guess it does make sense that, you would have the final couple of episodes action. Oh yeah, now let's debate and talk about how this episode basically did and everything. Let's review this episode more in detail. Doesn't that actually have the same thing? Be quiet, Kristen. Talk. Alright. Now, the way this episode starts is with a beautiful shot of the moon of Ramnet, which I must admit, I was kind of wondering about the moon. I mean, is the moon... How can that moon have a full moon? I mean, it's shadowed and it can't stay a circle. But in this episode, we will find out that the full moon in the Ramnet is when the moon's facing towards it with that shadow part and all the pieces are in it. Which does make me wonder, have the creatures of Grimm actually emerged from the moon? I mean, really think about it. I mean, if some darkness broke out there and came to Ramnet, wouldn't it kinda explain why one section has so much darkness, or how they just randomly appear? Yes, that's probably the case. No, besides, but that's a theory for another day. Yes, correct. Then after that beautiful show of the moon, we basically have them walking into Lionheart's school, I guess? Or ballerina or something, I don't know. For some reason it looked like a ballerina, but it might not be, but who really knows? Now, it's pretty obvious. As soon as basically Lionheart says his first line, it's going about saying that it's a trap. It's screaming it's a trap. Someone could shoot that lie with Jello Akbar saying it's a trap right now. Correct. Now, the thing that they do with Lion in Heart is basically saying that he's acting weird, which is kind of obvious, if you ask me. But he tries to pass it as like saying he didn't have his morning coffee or something, like making a joke to make it more natural. In which Yang notices her mom, which I oddly enough expected her just to appear as soon as the Lionheart pressed some kind of a button or something to signal. But I guess that was a badass moment. Would get given us not as best moment, where Curl shoots at her for a warning shot. She basically goes behind Lionheart and transforms, which makes me wonder: do these transformations just don't know how to make them yet, or they just imply that people must not exactly directly see it or something? I don't know really. Now, Raven is basically a bitch to Crow, like saying, you a scheming little brother. Which, although I find it kind of weird that Raven says little brother, because Crow looks older than her. Seriously, Raven just looks like a bigger, slightly older, the different colored Yang, if I'm more thinking about it. Yes, that's true. After that bit, Rwby basically gives Raven a speech saying how it's if they're together and all that. which I am wondering if what they actually mean with there is no beating Salem could possibly mean the fact that every single time someone kills Salem, it goes to a different dead person. I mean, that'd be kind of ironic if you think about it. I mean, if you kill Salem, she gets the body of a different dead person, which is kind of hilarious, if you ask me. No, basically, after that, we basically that bitch fire blast, it all comes with Cinder, and she has a holy shit of sass, like saying, "Hello, boys and girls." I kinda expected her to say ladies or something. Now, after that whole thing, we basically find out that it's Lionheart who we need to blame for all these things. Huh, who'd have thought? I was blaming Ironwood, Jack, the one-man band, was blaming Blake, but in reality, we all should have been just blaming Lionheart. Why did no one had that? Did anyone? Which is kind of weird now that I think about it. I mean, did no one thought that maybe the headmaster of Mission needs to be blamed? I mean, there's no way this. So, don't put in the comments below if you thought that it was if you were kind of alerting to Lionheart being the one to blame for Fall Beacon. After some things with an incredible emotional scene with Jean, which I will get into later, we basically have our battles break free, which is Jean vs Cinder, obviously, Emerald vs Rwby. I make sense somewhat, and I wasn't really hinted at, and it didn't seem like those two would have a rivalry that much, but I guess somewhat makes sense. Yang vs Mercury as a rematch, which I wonder if Yang's gonna I am wondering if Yang's basically going to decimate Mercury on her own. Because I did see the newest episode, which is chapter 12, but again, it's kinda hard to tell. Not spoiling, just saying Yang is still battling Mercury. Now then we get Oscar vs Lionheart. And for the ending, as you can see in this picture, and for the ending we have Hazel vs Ryanora. Oh, I also forgot to mention Weiss vs Vernal. Wow. Honestly, a couple of them make sense. But the other ones just don't make sense. Although I do like how they basically make a joke at Hazel vs Ryanora, basically stating, I mean, there's no real reason for us to battle. I mean, we have no rivalry or anything else, so why don't we just battle? I mean, just so we can do something in the next chapter. Yes, that was pretty much the case. Now, for the most part, all the battles are great. Raven vs Crow, that I also forgot to mention, is somewhat shown is great. Vernal vs Weiss was amazing. Hazel vs Ryanora was, for what we have seen, alright. Mercury vs Yang is a great matchup. I mean, honestly, that battle is the only one that we can somewhat already put the pieces in. This is it. Emerald vs Rwby is alright. I do like it how Emma basically uses her powers to create an illusion towards Rwby to basically have her guard being down. Which, seriously, has no one thought that maybe find a way to make sure you don't have a blind spot when it comes to this type of stuff? I mean, seriously, I thought everyone kind of knew the fact that Emerald has illusion powers. Maybe they just weren't prepared for her. Even though I'm pretty sure they should be actually preparing for her. Now, the battle between Lionheart and Ospen or Oscar, whatever you call it, is a decent battle. I mean, Oscar basically showcasing that Also, all those people who complain about Oscar and Lionheart, Oscar dominating Lionheart too much, which I have to just say this. First thing, Lionheart doesn't basically say that he's not as great as a fighter as he used to be. And by the looks at his weapon, it's also shown the fact that he didn't really fought. He's not much of a fighter, even if he was in, even if he wasn't out of the experience, which you can tell through the fact that his weapon can only block and he's the mage. So yeah, I feel like it was a pretty alright thing. And how we actually got a villain that's weak if he's in close combat. Seriously, that's somewhat alright. Oh, I also forgot to mention the white thing, but considering it was just in seconds, and the only thing we really have gotten was that little joke that someone made. I apologize, I can't remember the name, but one of those who make Rwby be a bridge or crack videos basically made a joke like, after I blow up the Mistral Tower, Blackboy will surely want me back. And then the armed voice member basically says, dude, just get over it. It was ridiculous, to say the least. Yes, it was. The battles were pretty well choreographed, I should mention. Now we get to the juicy stuff, which was Cinder vs. John. Honestly, we all kind of thought that John is going to battle Cinder. And I do like the fact they don't really have Jean in an equal par or showing anything else. Although it's kind of weird that Cinder would toy with him, because she doesn't really strike me as those toying villains with heroes like Frieza is, but I guess it somewhat makes sense. Now, when they're charging to battle, and basically gives this big speech and saying, "Who are you?" which is actually a pretty legitimate thing to ask. I mean, I feel like the only time they really have seen each other was in that whole thing when she killed Amber, so it's fair. But, alright. Now, the next thing that happens is basically, well, they are charging up. Rwby activates the Silver Eyes, which Ammo dominates, which I find good. I mean, for crying out loud. I mean, how many times are you going to let them power up until you're fucking like, maybe we should attack them when they're powering up? I mean, you've always, for some strange reason, always scream and never seem to be ready to battle. Which is just saying that in so many levels. Which we see Cinder falling down and having her arm and touching her arm because apparently it hurts. Which also, so I'm not gonna confirm it because we do get an explanation in the next chapter. Let's just say that we find out that if anybody thought that they wondered why Cinder hides her arm, it's pretty fucking lazily designed. Without that cloak. Now after that, Jean basically tries to strike her down, but unfortunately he just chips off the mask, which kind of makes Cinder kind of mad for some fucking reason. I mean, they're gonna damage your mask. I mean, did she honestly expect that she couldn't get damaged on mask? I mean, seriously. And then basically she states that she's gonna destroy him and all that for some strange reason. And because he basically states is, kill me, don't kill anybody else, she decides to kill somebody else. which for some damn reason it's wise. Seriously, people? Also, Jack Norman banned. If you tell me, if you actually don't make a what the fuck video about this whole thing, then I'm gonna be seriously upset because Blake snapping his son from the backside of her hand, and so what the fuck, such a bitch move. But your favorite girl being stabbed for some stupid reason which makes no sense, because honest to God, Rwby is a lot closer. Seriously. Only thing I had to do was say, I'm going to grab Rwby, put her up, make a knife or something, and cut her fucking head off. Seriously, that's all what she had to do, and she will make the same kind of misery. But nope, she throws a spear at Weiss. Which, you know, now I think about it, I'm pretty sure in case if that they could heal that. So everybody else feels like that thing could be healed. No, this episode, yes, that's pretty much what the fuck. But you know what, this episode is pretty good, it's pretty tolerable. I mean, it's not the best, but it's not the worst thing we have ever seen. Oh, it's a good enough episode. Yes, I agree. Also, I do like it how basically they kind of do this thing with these types of stuff. First battle has basically just a couple of alright scenes. The next is basically just having all the conversation, and so basically the final battles are going to be there, and the final two battles are like that. That's pretty much how these things kind of work, if you ask me. Yes. Or it's what the fuck they decide to stab Weiss, but I guess it does make so much sense. Now that's it. I hope you liked this video. I hope you leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos in the future. And that's it. I cannot wait to see all of you people next time. Bye. Bye.